Hola, buenos dias. We are in Uyuni, which is about 4,000 meters above sea level, and it's an overnight bus ride south of La Paz.
Yes, and we're here to do a tour of the Bolivian Salt Flats. We're doing a 3-day, 2-night tour.
So the first stop on our Salt Flats tour is the train cemetery. These trains were originally used to transport precious minerals out of Bolivia. They're now just left here to rust away.
So we're here at the Salt Flats now.
It's only about half an hour from Uyuni town.
Yeah, so it's totally doable on a day trip, but we're going to see more on a 3-day trip.
Yes. So we've just stopped here to have lunch, and we've seen the Dakar Rally monument. And yeah.
Yeah, and at different times of the year there's different amounts of water on the Salt Flats, which is important to know because we heard from people who did it a couple of months ago who had to wear wellies to do it, but it's completely dry right now, which is good. And yeah, it's pretty cold too, but you can see it's crazy, it just stretches
for miles.
Yeah,
and
you
miles.
Can't see the end of it, it's so weird. Just this white stuff that looks like snow, but it's not, it's so strange.
So this is Incahuasi Island, which is in the middle of the Salt Flats.
Yeah, just filled with all these really cool cactuses. Or cacti. Yeah. And before this we just stopped in the Salt Flats and did some perspective shots, which was pretty cool for about half an hour. And yeah, and this is the next spot on the list. This is, you have to pay extra like
30 Bolivianos to come in here.
Is that £3?
Yeah, there or thereabouts.
So we're going to climb to the top and see the view.
Yeah. So it's the end of the first day on our Salt Flat tour.
Yes.
And we are now in our prison cell.
So we drove all across the Salt Flats today. It's really good. Really amazing sunset. Like, I can't remember
out of this world.
A better
neon
sunset.
Kind of fluorescent lights. It's awesome.
And we were really lucky because we got some dry Salt Flats because of the time of year, so we could stand on it and do our perspective shots. But then we also got this area where we saw the sunset that still had water on it, so you could see all the reflections. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah. But yeah, this hotel is very, very basic.
It's a salt hotel, so it's built out of salt.
Yeah.
All the bricks are salt.
Yeah, it's just like little rooms and then shared bathrooms, and we just have dinner and that's about it. So this was our salt hotel from last night. It was very, very cold in there, even with a sleeping bag. And all the walls are made of salt. And we're just about to start our second day of touring.
And our first stop, well, our second stop actually, we stopped at the train tracks that run from Uyuni to Chile.
Yeah.
And now we've just stopped at this viewpoint of this volcano behind us.
Yeah, it's an active volcano. We need to ask him some questions about when it last erupted and stuff, but you can see a bit of smoke coming from it, I think. But yeah, the landscape here is really like deserty, and it's like the American Midwest or something, isn't it? With like cactuses and like canyon kind of scenery and these bald rocky mountains.
It's just so barren,
really cool.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's also very high up, so a little bit hard to breathe.
Yeah. So we have made it to the first laguna, the first lake, and I believe it's called Laguna Canapa.
Yes, and there's a volcano just over there as well with the same name. And there's some flamingos here, 3 different types of flamingos.
Yes. The Andino, Altiplano and Chilean
Yeah.
flamingos.
And the reflections on the water are just like perfect. It's amazing.
It's like a mirror. Good evening.
So it's the end of day 2 and we're at another hostel a lot higher up tonight, and so it's freezing.
Yes.
Yeah. We were very lucky because we had to share rooms, but actually there's 2 spare spaces.
Yeah, we got lucky here.
Yeah. How high are we now?
About 4,300 meters, I think.
You could really feel it when we got towards the end of today. We went through, what was it called?
The Inca Pass.
Just going really high, and then we saw like the stone trees, and I could really feel the altitude kick in.
So tomorrow we're up at 4 a.m. We're leaving at 5 and going to some hot springs.
Go to the sunrise first.
Yeah, seeing the sunrise and then hot springs. So yeah, it's going to be really freezing in the morning.
And the sky outside, the camera won't pick it up, but the stars are really amazing.
It's so clear. You can see the Milky Way and all sorts. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen everything. Well, we will have seen everything: sunset, sunrise, stars. It's cool.
Yeah, it's been a good trip. Hola, buenos dias. So it's the third day of our Salt Flats tour, and we've come to the thermal baths.
Yes, to watch the sunrise. So we got up at like 4 o'clock this morning, and it was very, very cold. It still is freezing. The baths are actually quite hot, but I can't bear the thought of going in because it's so freezing outside. But yeah, it looks really nice anyway with the sunrise and the steam coming off the baths.
It looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there was some geysers as well, weren't there?
Yeah, we saw some geysers too.
Yeah, it's a really like geothermal area.
Yeah, and we're about 4,850 meters above sea level. So yeah, air is pretty thin.
So firstly, getting to the Salt Flats, the nearest town is Uyuni if you're travelling from Bolivia. So you have options of how to get there. You can take a really long overnight bus, but the Bolivian overnight buses are known to be horrendous. So it's totally up to you whether to do that, or you can get cheap flights. By cheap, I mean maybe about £50 to £100 per person.
Yeah,
so maybe if you book ahead, you can get that cheap. Or you can do a range of buses, like we took a bus. No, we flew to Sucre and then took a bus to Potosi and then a bus to Uyuni to break up the journey.
Yeah. So, second tip is to book your tour when you get to Uyuni. There's no need to book in advance. We did, and we ended up paying more than most of the other, well, more than everybody else on our tour. You can very easily just turn up in Uyuni, even in the morning. The tours leave about 10:30, so you can get there in the morning on the overnight bus and book your tour straight away for the same day.
So when you're booking tours as well, you have a choice between an English-speaking tour guide / driver, they're usually one and the same, or a Spanish one. And we initially thought about doing the English one, but it's a good like £50 more expensive per person. So in the end we thought, since Andrew speaks Spanish, we'll just use the Spanish one and he can translate anything to me, and that worked fine, absolutely fine. We saved a lot of money by doing that, and Andrew just translated the main facts. The guide doesn't really tell you that much information anyway, it's just sort of like a little bit about each stop you go to, things that you could find out online anyway, so that's definitely a good idea. Yeah,
and everybody else on our tour spoke English. They were Belgians, Germans and Americans.
Yeah.
And so you'll probably have at least one person on your tour who can speak English and could translate for you anyway.
Yeah.
So next tip, you have a few different options for your tours in terms of the lengths. So you can just do a simple one-day tour, which just goes straight out to the Salt Flats and back again in one day, obviously. Or the tour we did, and I think is most popular, is the 3-day 2-night tour, which takes you to the Salt Flats, first of all the train cemetery, and then takes you out to the stone tree, lots of deserts and viewpoints and lagunas, and you see all the flamingos. You do see quite a lot of wildlife on that tour.
When you book your tour, you also have the choice of where it ends. So you can either do a circuit and come back to Uyuni afterwards, which is what we're doing because we're still going to be travelling in Bolivia, or you can end in Chile, and that's good if you obviously want to cross over and carry on travelling in Chile. You just get dropped at the border and then there's a bus transfer to San Pedro.
So our last tip is what to bring on your Salt Flats tour. So you're very high up, the altitude goes to over 4,000 meters, and the sun is very, very strong. So bring sun cream, sunglasses, lip balm, and a hat.
And you can also bring altitude medicine, Diamox, with you if you like. We tried that in Nepal and we didn't really like the side effects, so now we just make sure we're hydrated, and we bring paracetamol or ibuprofen with us as well to deal with the headaches that you might get. Yep,
you can also get, for example, coca candy, coca leaves, they have coca leaf tea.
Yeah, and
so yeah, helps. There are other alternatives as well.
Yeah. It also gets very, very cold here because of the altitude, so bring lots of layers and jumpers and thick socks, and you need gloves and a hat and scarf, definitely for the sunset and for the sunrise in the morning. It's very cold. And you do get blankets in the hostels, but they weren't good enough for me. I rented a sleeping bag before I came and it was like 50 Bolivianos for the trip.
Also, you'll obviously need your camera or phone. You can charge these up at the hostel. There are loads of PowerPoints for that. Also in the market in Uyuni you can pick up some props like dinosaurs, toy cars, things like that to take your photos on the salt flats. However, your guide or your driver may also have his own props. Like ours had a pretty big dinosaur that he used, which was awesome.
Yep.
Apparently for the perspective photos, the bigger the prop the better.
Yeah. Also bring toilet roll with you because they don't really have it here, and at every toilet stop you'll need change as well because it costs between 1 and 6 Bolivianos for each toilet stop. And I would bring snacks with you as well. Like, we did have a lot of food on this trip, but as vegans we didn't get catered to that well, so it was good that we had brought things like nuts and stuff with us.
Yeah. Also bring a torch in case you have to get up very early or late at night, for example. And it's also useful for the sunrise morning.
Yeah. One more thing, depending on what time of year you come to the salt flats, it will be either wet or dry. It was dry for us, so we could wear our just normal trainers or flip-flops on the salt flats, but we know people who did it in January, February time where it was rainy season and the salt flats is flooded, and you get really good reflections, but you need either wellies, otherwise your feet will freeze, or you just wear flip-flops and get really cold feet in the water. So yeah, be aware of that. Your tour company should offer you wellies if you go in the
wet season. Yeah.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.